Hello, everyone. Let me take this mask off. There's not many people out here. They are tearing down the court soon, getting ready for a concert this weekend. But wanted to go ahead and get this started. And I have emailed Buck and asked her if she can make it to the show. Make sure we're all streaming and doing what we're supposed to do here. Looks like we are live and talking. Obviously, what everyone is asking is the status of Ray Burrell, and right now we do not know. Ray, I'm going to let everybody get in here, and then I'll answer about Ray. And Alexis is going to pop in just as soon as she can to talk to everybody. I know it's late. I mean, the post game just ended 10 minutes ago, but that's what happens when you have a TV game at a 7 o'clock tip. So we're going to be up late for these going forward. Need a little bit of water here. Everyone, of course, is asking about Ray Burrell. The answer is there is no definitive diagnosis yet. She will have to go for diagnostic testing on Thursday, and then Tennessee will know more. So there is no diagnosis tonight, and that's not unusual. When you have an injury like that, you typically will want diagnostic testing to determine exactly what it is. So those tests would come back at some point tomorrow or Friday, and Tennessee would release any update there. If she tried to get up, I think everybody was watching the game. If you weren't, she went down. She came down awkwardly after making a basket, tried to get to her feet, and then went right back down to the court. Didn't take long for time to be stopped and Kelly to come to the court all the way down the other end. It happened on the far end away from Tennessee's bench, and she had to be helped to the locker room. So I'm not going to speculate because I have seen so many injuries be very serious and other injuries be not serious, and you never can tell. But she did not return to the bench area or the sideline for the game. And obviously, the Tennessee players, I mean, everybody was a little bit shocked. People in the stands were shocked. You never want to see any player injured, and you really don't want to see a senior injured. And a player like Ray Burrell, who has been here for so long. Sorry, some people are leaving, so I had to wave at them. So the good news, of course, is that Tennessee recovered from being shell-shocked, and they were. That was a blow, and found enough offense and defense. I mean, absolutely credit defense for that win, because that's what it took with defensive stops. What was that, a 17 to 2 run, I believe, for Tennessee to close that game out. Alexis Dye had a great game. Jordan Walker had a fantastic game. Sarah Puckett, what a three-point shot she hit. Gotta definitely shout out Sarah for making that shot and then getting a 2-point basket at the rim later. I mean, right, that game was every single point mattered. The biggest issue for Tennessee, of course, was Tamari Key in foul trouble. As Kelly pointed out in the postgame, that 17 to 2 run came with Tamari Key on the floor because she presents so much of a problem for the other team when she is on the court on both ends. I want to find my box score. The happiest I am about COVID protocols not being done anymore is this. We get printed box scores again. That is my favorite part of us being back to almost normal. Let's see. Tamari Key was able to play just 14 minutes in this game, and the vast majority of those came in the fourth quarter. And that was the difference in the ball game, because with Tamari Key on the bench, Southern Illinois could basically, they didn't have her to contend with on both ends. And I mean, I had said all along, I thought this was a very good team, very good Southern Illinois team, very well-coached team, the veteran team. Some people were pointing to their record last season. That was a COVID year. You can toss those records out. I mean, players were hurt, players were sick, players were quarantined. Sometimes teams went weeks without games. So I do not look at what a record was last year because that is not going to matter. And I did see a lot of people on Twitter last night having great uh, joy at Kentucky struggling against Presbyterian, and I'm like, be careful what you ask for, because that's what this season's going to be like. Obviously, Kentucky came back, took care of Presbyterian. Tennessee did the exact same thing tonight, took care of Southern Illinois. Southern Illinois is not a bad team either. They are a team that will compete in their conference, and I do not want to take anything away from Southern Illinois because they made clutch shots. Every time Tennessee made a run up until that last run, Southern Illinois had an answer for it. Even when Alexis tied the game, they came back and hit a three. So I have said you can't sleep on any team this year, and I know some fans won't listen. I think y'all seem to be a different kind of fan. Y'all seem to be a little more reasonable here. Cheryl Ford said, what a game to test our youthful team, and they never quit. You don't control circumstances, but you certainly control how you respond, and they did respond. I agree, Cheryl. And Brooklyn Miles, I had heard her on-ball defense was very good. She was a gritty kind of kid, has always been sold short because she's short, and that has given her an attitude about it, and Tennessee needed every ounce of her attitude tonight. I think the loudest cheer was her forcing that 10-second backcourt call against SIU tonight. So definitely want to shout out the freshmen. I know Caroline Stripling came in and hit a big shot. Kaya Wynn came in and played defense. Sarah Puckett. I mean, that was a big-time shot for a freshman to hit a three in that moment. So major credit to her for doing that. We do have Alexis here with all kinds of lights. Alexis is under the lights. Karen said, I felt like the officials had nerves too. Yeah, once again, that's a game where I don't see officials that I usually see. And I think sometimes the athleticism of Tennessee, particularly Alexis Dye on that block, I want to see the replay, but that block she had in the first half that was called a foul, I did not see that at all. That looked like a clean block. But then again, I'm looking from the other end of the court.
Yep.
So,
the lights. Sorry about the lights.
Cheryl asked what was attendance? 5951. So almost 6,000, which is not bad for a church night. Alexis is like in the spotlight, man.
I know it's let me adjust the lighting right quick. I'm at the restaurant. I'm sorry. Give me a second.
No, that's okay. Poor Alexis is always at the restaurant. Credence said he was yelling at the refs the whole game loudly. Thank you, Credence. I mean, home court advantage is a real thing. It is a legitimate real thing. And these fans were giving all they could in that fourth quarter. I think the fans were in shell shock too. One, you see a player go down like Ray, and I mean it affects the fans too. It affects the team, and Southern Illinois just had Tennessee totally discombobulated, and the fans were like, they were a little bit shell shocked too. Now, I will say, welcome to women's college basketball. That is the kind of season it's going to be. So. Alexis, I know you're at the restaurant. Did you get to watch much of that game? And welcome, Alexis. She made it. She's busy, but she's here.
What's up, everybody? How y'all doing? I watched that game, Maria. I gotta remember this is Bucket 2MC and not the collective. So I'm gonna put my words together delicately. I'm glad we won. Saw some good things. Highly disappointed in a couple things. How do we let Southern Illinois score the first basket on our home court? That's number one. That's a pride thing. I don't care if you got to put them on their butt, as Pat used to tell us. And then the second thing was, it was way too close of a game for who is Southern Illinois? No disrespect, ladies. Great game. Way to fight. But I'm coming from a Lady Vol perspective, and that's how I look at it.
I was preaching that Southern Illinois is a well-coached veteran team and don't sleep on them. Now, I did not expect them to be leading most of the game. I also didn't expect Ray Burrell to get hurt in the first half and not be able to come back and play. Yeah. But the team was struggling before that happened. I think this is what we're going to see more of in college basketball. I mean, Presbyterian was was taking it to Kentucky last night. Kentucky came back and beat them, but Presbyterian was leading that game in the third quarter. And I guarantee you Southern Illinois is better than Presbyterian, probably, just basing it on what conference they play in. And
right.
And Southern Illinois has three graduate student. They're not transfers. They're fifth-year players. They were also a very physical team, and were doing it to see how much they could get away with it, and they got away with a lot. And Tennessee has got to be able to realize that smaller teams are going to do that to them. So
yeah, Marie, I definitely would have to agree with that. And I mean, it is the first game. Obviously, Ray Burrell going out is gonna hurt us. She's a huge asset, especially as a senior. We're looking forward for her to have a great season. So prayers up that, it's just a minor injury. We get her healthy. We get her back on the court. Obviously, we also had Jordan Horston out tonight. So that's two of our guns, that's not on the court. And I get that. Like, I understand that. And it does, affect the chemistry and affect kind of how you've been practicing and what you've been putting in. TK got in foul trouble early. But it does come down to some other things. Like, we had early missed box outs, but it was a consistent thing throughout the game. And we always spoke on this last season. So it's like, who's going to step up and hold themselves and hold the team accountable for the little things? Jordan's not playing. Ray gets hurt. TK in foul trouble. Energy is high. It's the first game. It's the home court. It's the first non-COVID season. I mean, it's a lot of emotions running high. I get that. And again, I'm proud that we won the game. So I want to keep reiterating that point. But at the end of the day, I'm looking for the dog to come out of the Tennessee Lady Vols to where we get on the court and people are afraid to play us, especially teams that have no business being close to us on the scoreboard. I don't care if we playing with our 19th, 11th, 12th, 13th, 15th, 15th player. You feel me? I don't care. We got to get there. We'll get there, guys. But
yeah, they can get there, but it's a different game right now. It is. Well, they can get there, though. What I saw, I looked up one time in the third quarter because of foul trouble and available players. There were all 5 players on the floor. 3 of them were not here last year.
Yep.
And the other 2 played very few minutes last year. And I'm like, boy, Kelly is just trying to get everything she can out of everybody on this team right now to get this win. And then you weren't here for the very first part of it. We asked Kelly what the 17-2 run was. She was very blunt. Tamari Key changes the game on both ends. Absolutely. The best thing that happened to Southern Illinois was her in foul trouble. Got her out of the way. She played 14 minutes. This is a game where you would want Tamari Key to have about 35 minutes.
All right. Now I'm going to ask you this question, Maria, because I can kind of agree, but I can't 100% agree. Because if this isn't Southern Illinois, we take a loss tonight. So somebody's going to have to step up when TK does get in foul trouble, because it's going to happen from time to time. We don't want it to be a consistent thing, but it will happen. We can't say we gave away a run, 17-2 run, because of one player.
No, Tennessee went on a 17-2 run.
Oh, we went on a 17-2.
Yes. Yeah, I'm sorry. I wasn't clear.
Right. I lost all of my marbles just now.
Yeah. Tennessee went on a 17-2 run when Tamari Key got in the game.
Let me high five her. That's what I'm talking about. All right, my bad. I take that back. Because I was about to go in. Boy, I started sweating. I got hot.
No. I mean, Southern Illinois had a 9-0 run in the first half, and then it was just back and forth. It was a 2-point game, 3-point game. Yeah.
You're right. You're right. Okay.
Then Tennessee won by 10, and they were down 5 late in the fourth quarter. So, yeah, that was a heck of a turnaround. Yeah. Now, coaches preach all the time.
So I don't have to go a little bit. I'm sorry. I'm still working, guys.
No, coaches preach all the time. You got to be ready. You never know when you got to step up.
You never know when your number's going to be called. Is what that would say.
Usually you don't learn that lesson in the first game. All these freshmen had to learn that lesson in the first game. Guess what? You got to be ready right now. We're not kidding.
But the best thing about that is it is the first game, and it's not a conference game, and it's not a top 25 or a Power 10 school. So you really should have that excitement and the butterflies that uplift you and give you that energy to where you can almost run for days. Like, oh my God, what got into that kid? Just the excitement of being on the court for a regular season as a freshman, getting that opportunity that if we didn't have injuries, if we didn't have Horson sitting out, if we didn't have foul trouble, you probably wouldn't have gotten that opportunity as soon to be on the court. Uh, so yeah, I'm happy that happened because now they kind of got thrown in the fire early in the game. I kept telling my mom was here, by the way. Y'all missed karaoke tonight. Mama Kwan sang. Okay, by the way. Uh, but I kept telling my mom, I'm like, the only thing that bothers me is the score right now. I know we're gonna win. I know we're gonna win. Who's gonna say, okay, let's have some poise under this pressure situation right now because we're not blowing this team out. We're not killing them. We haven't just went out and punched them in the mouth. Who's gonna step up and be that floor leader? Who's gonna be the extension of the coach on the floor? And obviously, it's the first game. We got to figure that out. But hopefully, we can get that figured out sooner rather than later. And that's going to smooth things out, especially when you have a floor leader and what I call a bench leader. That's the people who don't really get in as much, high basketball IQ, high energy, always ready to play when they get in. And they're always watching and talking. They're communicating always. They're keeping that energy on the bench so when they get on the court, it transmits automatically.
And in the closing, Jordan Walker really stepped up.
Oh, yeah.
Stepped up
Shout
for
out to
game.
Jordan.
Corey
She did
Key
good.
basically said they were saying we are not losing this game.
Train
And
up.
that's when they went on that 17-2 run. I agree with you completely because I was looking at the freshmen, and going into this game, they're thinking, okay, we might get 5 minutes, we might get 10 minutes. All of a sudden, you are on the floor in crunch time.
Yep.
And every turnover matters. Every possession matters. They have never played a game like that in their lives until tonight. And now they know. Now they got a quick turnaround. They don't do a scouting report semi-practice tomorrow. They got to leave tomorrow for Orlando. And if anybody's sleeping on UCF, I'm going to have to wake you up. That is
they've been good for a couple seasons though. They've been holding it down.
They are tough on their home court. I don't know.
Yeah,
I mean, Kelly.
I like their system. I like how they play. I'm a fan of how they play. Those girls play hard, and they've been doing that for a few years now. So they've consistently been that type of team. So we got to bring our A game.
Yeah, they're going to come after Tennessee. They're going to get physical. They're going to get in their grill. And, I mean, I know people were complaining about the officials, but guess what? That's every game. That's not going to change. You got to deal with it.
Yeah, the officials, you got to be able to take the officiating out of it. And that means controlling your turnover. Every possession matters. That's why those missed box outs are so crucial. Missed free throws are so crucial. Ball player movement so crucial. I will say we miss TK a lot in transition. Your big girl running the floor like that, throw it up. Make the mistake and let it go out of bounds once and correct it, or decide when you're going to throw it. But let's throw it. Let's take a chance. Let's get her in the habit of being able to catch that thing off a sprint, catch and finish, because we're going to need that in big games.
And I think sometimes players are not always fully appreciated until you don't have them. I think if people didn't realize how important Jordan Horston was to this team, I think they saw it tonight.
That's a fact. We definitely, I think it would have been a totally different ball game if she was on the court. I still felt very confident though in a 20-plus victory without her playing. Obviously, we didn't have that, but I thought based off our personnel and what I've seen in the summer, and then based off kind of what you're telling me, and I know Nikki was in there for a minute. I'm getting text messages from somebody watching the podcast, and they right on point with the text messages. Let me turn that off. I'm gonna answer those texts though. I know you listening, so I'm gonna answer those texts. But damn, y'all made me forget. Y'all know y'all can't do that to me. Yes, and Nikki went to the practice when she took the baby. She couldn't stay long, but she was just saying like, we got to get them to where they're almost coaching themselves in a sense. Now you got to be a part of the system. You got to listen. But Jordan's out. Okay, who's gonna step up for Jordan? Who's gonna step up, show out in place of Jordan? Because it's your time to show the coach, to show the team, to show the fans, the former Lady Vols, to show everybody. You know what? if you need me, this is what I can do. And we didn't have that tonight from start to finish. I'm talking 40-minute game. We didn't have anybody that we can pick out and just say, hey, we know we can rely on that kid if somebody's in foul trouble or if so-and-so is not going to be on the court or if injury occurs. And again, I'll go back to saying it's the first game because it does take time. We all know that. But I feel like we're a pretty seasoned team with who we have, kind of in a sense. But yet we have not had a full year. This is the first full summer of preseason and practices and practice guys and pickup and all of that. So I'm still excited to see what's going to happen in the near future. And I still will say that I'm very confident in saying this will still be the most consistent year we've seen of our Lady Vols.
They're obviously returning players have considerable experience. Your 1 4-year senior, of course, is Ray Burrell, and that's who. Yeah. I mean, she was 6-9. She started the game 6-9, 12 points, and then boom, she's out. And to say that they were shell shocked, I mean, looking at their faces as they came out at halftime, and the coaches came out, and there's no Ray. You could see it on the players' faces and the coaches' faces that was a tough halftime.
Yeah,
because you knew Ray wasn't coming back. Now, before you got here, there's no official word tonight. She has got to go get diagnostic testing on Thursday, and then they will determine the nature and extent of the injury, which is pretty common when that means it's not something that was minor or tweaked that they can diagnose tonight. They got to go see, is it serious? Is it
knee or ankle?
Knee, right knee.
All right.
And I've seen it go both ways. I've seen ones I was convinced was a major injury, turns out to be minor. I've seen ones I thought were minor, turned out to be major. So I'm not even going to start to speculate on what her status is. She went down and was clearly uncomfortable. She tried to get up. She was trying to stand, and as soon as she put weight on it, she went right back down on the floor. And then she needed help getting off the court.
Man, yeah, that's definitely something we don't need.
No, that if you were to tell me who is one of your absolute key players, Ray Burrell. I mean, that's easy. She's your leading scorer.
Not to mention the work. I saw a lot of her work that she put in. I got an opportunity to work with her this summer as well on some little things. So I was excited to see what she was going to bring to the season, to be honest, because she's been very dedicated to her craft, very dedicated to becoming a more all-around player, very focused on controlling the ball better under pressure. Mm-hmm. We know that she struggled with that often last year. She was always a pretty good finisher. Knew that she needed to work on being able to create separation better off of the dribble consistently, because she could do it at times, but if it was a high pressure defensive player, you didn't see that same swag, that same confidence, and that same execution. So she worked really hard on that over the summer, and I was really excited. So I'm praying that it's nothing too major, nothing that's going to keep her out season long, and whatever it is, the players got to stay strong. The coaches got to stay strong. And now this just means there's somebody else who has an opportunity to step up and play a big role for our Lady Vols this season. I mean, we can't sulk about it. We can't pout about it. We just got to figure it out, and we got to figure it out quick because, like you say, it's a very quick turnaround. We'll be in Orlando. We don't got time to put our heads down.
No, and then USF, Southern Florida, comes in here Monday.
Back, heads up, and somebody got to show up and show out. It's really simplistic if you think about it.
Yeah, Ray played 17 minutes, and Kelly got her out briefly in the first half, and then it went haywire, and Kelly had to put her right back in. And yeah, that I like you said, hope for the best for her, and whatever the test showed tomorrow, that it's something that is manageable for her, and right now we just do not know. But this is a game where if you lose it, it's the first game, and I don't want to put too much emphasis on the first game, but you start the season with a loss is hard, particularly when you've got two really good teams coming up next. So, like you said, it wasn't anything particularly pretty, but you got the win, and that mattered.
Hey, I will take an ugly win over a pretty loss any day. Any day. Any day of the week. I would do that. So shout out to us taking home this first win on our home court on the Summit. That's huge. I'm very grateful. Can I see your pin? Very thankful for that. But I expect to see. I'm counting drawers because I don't want to be here all night. But dang, I'm sorry, guys. I swear I'm normally more focused than this. It's a lot going on right now. What was that? What was the last thing I said, Maria?
That you'll take the ugly win, but
yeah.
you want to,
Yeah, we'll take the ugly win over a pretty loss. We got it. It's a good start. 1-0. We just got it. Now we know we can go up from here. Now we know we can go up from here. We didn't take the loss because Maria. Now you know how we get as fans, former players, writers. We would have been all on their butts if we took an L to Southern Illinois at home, game 1.
Yeah,
it'd have been a totally different podcast tonight. But again, for those who are listening, those who are watching, if you're watching it live, if you're going to watch it on playback later, stay with us, stay strong, stay energetic, keep supporting your Lady Vol sports, period. Not just Lady Vol basketball, but it is basketball season. And Maria and I are going to do the best we can to give you biased and unbiased opinions, because sometimes I'm coming very biased.
Well, you're coming at it from a former player. I'm coming at it from somebody who's seen a little bit of everything in my 25 years of doing this, and
right.
I never get too high or too low because I got to stay on that even keel because I got to get through the whole season. But you have blood and sweat in this program. I mean, you are the Lady.
I take it personally.
Yeah, I don't take it personally. Yeah, you should take it personally. You're a former player.
Listen, I'm going to be honest. So this is a Tap 40 story of the night right now. So not only is it Lady Vol basketball, Wednesdays we're doing like karaoke and single type thing. And there was 2 guys at the bars. They're regular PAL community members. And they were like, oh, we're sucking. Do you see this? Da-da-da. I go, bro, I can't watch this with you because I literally take this serious. And he's like, look, it's at the bar. So he's been having a few drinks. And he keeps going, well, you need to go down there and show him this. I'm like, shut the up. I said, I don't think you understand my emotions when I watch Lady Vol basketball. Like, this ain't nothing from a fan perspective. I hope we win. I'm going to get mad and talk mess if we losing and why we lose. Nah, I'm mad trying to figure out why we aren't doing this, why we aren't doing that. I know this player and this person and this team and this coaching staff is capable. Where is it? And I literally had a moment, almost had a Buck type flashback, an old school Buck flashback. I almost wanted to just yoke him up by his collar real quick. Like, dude, just shut up. But overall, just stay in there with us, fans. We're coming. It will be the most consistent year. If not, I have to think of something good that I could do that I would regret later, but it'll be worth doing. But I'm willing to bet my bottom dollar that this is going to be the most consistent season that we've seen in a long time.
And one thing about you too, if you're watching with your Lady Vol sisters, y'all are allowed to say anything you want. If you're not part of that sisterhood, you're not allowed to criticize the team in front of you. You just can't.
Nope. Those are fighting words.
Mm-hmm. You can get mad at them, but somebody outside gets mad at them, and you're gonna whoop on them. So
it's a family thing. You can't do it. It's right here, and it's forever gonna be right there. And so if you're listening and you do come watch a game with us, whether that's home or away, please mind your manners.
This is what Kelly wanted. She wanted to schedule teams that can challenge them, that they can't just walk over by 45 points by showing up.
Yeah.
And you're going to take risk with that in your opening game, and especially in your opening game where Horston's not available, Ray Burrell gets hurt, and Tamari Key gets whistled. I mean, she played maybe 2 minutes in the first half and maybe 1 minute in the she played she didn't play long in the third. She picked up another one, and then
I know she did get a quick foul in the third quarter.
So
put them hands up, move them puppies, slide them feet, stop reaching, stop going for every block. The shot got to go up. You're already up while we swinging down.
Now these refs were challenged, but guess what? You're going to see that all season long. So get used to it.
Now, see, I'm not going to talk smack about the refs because I want them to still be on the Lady Vol side, but I can speak very candidly about the refereeing that happens.
It
It can go either way. It can go either way. I saw a foul that we got away with in the paint. I don't know if you remember it. Jordy had her arm in the middle, and the girl's like, "How's this not a foul? It's a foul on the other end." And I looked at my mom like, "Oh, she hacked the mess out of her. No call." So if we're gonna be okay with that call, we got to be okay with the calls that we received.
Tennessee was getting frustrated a bit. And they started like, "All right, we're gonna do it too." I mean, there was one call. There was no call late where Jordan went tumbling, the Saluki player went tumbling, and I'm like, that was a foul. I have no idea. I think the official was like, I don't know, so I'm just not going to call it.
And then you don't want to go tit for tat because that's not going to help us come SEC play. That's not going to help us at that tournament in Vegas. It's not going to help us to compete to try to be in a Final Four. So really, as fans, let me help y'all understand something. We don't even want to cry for those fouls. We want to challenge our players to be able to finish with contact. Finish through contact, initiate the contact, and finish the play. If we start to be able to do that consistently, ain't nothing the refs can do. You know what I mean? So we got to find a way to eliminate all of the negativity of pointing them fingers. Every time you point a finger, you got 3 pointing back at you. So we got to check what we doing wrong and how do we get better there.
And I'll tell people, buckle up. It's going to be like this all year. This is women's basketball now. This is what it is.
I got a question. Can you not bet on women's basketball?
It seems like I don't know. I don't bet, but it seems like there should be a line somewhere.
Anybody that's watching this on live or playback, YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube locker room, whatever you're watching us on, let me know.
That's a good point by Joan. She said they had 10 turnovers, which has been low for them. Yeah, that is a very manageable number of turnovers, 10. So if they can get that number fixed, and they also started the difference in the gap. They were only down 3 late in the fourth quarter when at that point SIU was 8 of 13 from the arc, and Tennessee was 8 of 17. I'm sorry, 8 of 17, and Tennessee was 0 of 13 from long range. And I'm like, Tennessee is very, very lucky to only be down 3. They were outscored at that point 24-0 at the arc.
Yeah. Nah, definitely. We won, Maria. Everybody at Rocky Top celebrate. We definitely played Rocky Top at the end of the game because we won. That's all we can say.
I agree. Bottom line.
I got a question, Maria. How was the atmosphere? How was the energy? How was the communication? Because you're there. So obviously I can't hear, see, and feel from over the TV.
Pre-game, it seemed fine. I mean, they were energetic in their warm-ups. They were getting moving, and the freshmen still seem like they're finding their way. But this is all new to them, just the whole pre-game thing.
Right.
But they got they didn't start well for Tennessee offensively, and it just seemed to they got out of sorts in a hurry. And then Jordan makes a huge difference in leadership on the floor. She's very vocal. And then Ray gets hurt. Jordan Walker stepped up quite a bit because she had to really take over at the point. But Kelly's quickly having to go to players who didn't play a lot last year or players who weren't here last year. And these are all new moments for them. I don't know where Alexis went. She had to go do something. So anyway, these are all new moments for these players. And this was a heck of a learning experience. And the good thing for Tennessee is that the learning experience came with a win, because now they have absolutely seen what can happen when you take the court in a college basketball game. And that if you're a bench player or someone who did not play a lot last season, you got to get ready, because Kelly is going to go as deep in that bench as she can. And you have to prepare just like you were going to play at any minute. Trina said, I like watching Dye play. Alexis Dye, she plays hard. She gets on the glass. She gets after it. The aggressive rebound and put back from Caroline Striplin. I agree. I mean, throughout this game, you saw flashes of what these freshmen can do. And the ceiling for them that will just get higher. They can all play, and
Yeah.
they were thrust into the moment tonight, and they stepped up for the most part. They big time stepped up. Brooklyn Miles guards like you do, Alexis. 94 feet. She picks up that
Yeah.
ball.
Yeah, I saw her. I like that she's there. I want to challenge her because she's quick. Like she's really quick, and I want to see her be a gnat because I think that she could have caused a few more turnovers, especially down the stretch when Southern Illinois was kind of feeling like we got a chance here, and they weren't thinking what they were doing. That's when you put that pressure on them. She's there, but sometimes like you need to know what they ate for pregame.
Mm-hmm.
You need to know what drink they washed it down with. That's how close you got to be. You know what I mean?
I think she'll
You
get
know the
there.
size of their tights. That's how you all in their shorts. That's what
Yep.
you need to know.
I think she'll get there. She's
Oh,
got
she is.
attitude.
I like her. I like her. I like her
She
game.
got attitude.
I like
Well-
her attitude. What I like the most is I talk smack. So anytime that I play pickup with them, I'm yeah. You know what I mean? And she would just kind of laugh, but she never backed down. So I already had respect for her from that matter. You know what I'm saying? Like she kind of shot up the very, very first time, but I'm like, hey, listen, I don't treat me like an old lady. Get my butt off this court. Embarrass me.
Yeah. I'll answer one more question, and then we both got to go. I've got to get home, feed my dogs, and start work. Martha asked, Di Miles look good. Agree. Any update on Ray? All we know about Ray is that they will do diagnostic testing tomorrow and wait for those results. So there is no update on what the nature or extent of the injury is, which typically means they don't know yet. So you go get the diagnostic testing and determine what it is. Hopefully we'll know something tomorrow or Friday. So in the meantime, everyone just send very good thoughts to Ray Burrell. She's the heart and soul of this team, and I know it's hurting her the most tonight to have not been able to play in that second half.
Absolutely.
So,
prayers up.
We will be back Friday night. It's a 6:00 tip against UCF, so we'll get in here about 9
I
o'clock.
won't be back Friday night, Maria. We
Okay.
have a VFL Legend weekend. Actually, I'm going to try because Candace will be here, Kate will be here, but we also have like live DJs and performances, so I might not even be able to hear y'all. I'm going to try to step in and at least say what's up and maybe even get them to show face.
Yeah, even if you can come in for 5 minutes, just pop in and make them pop their heads in. That'd be great. All right, guys. Thanks for tuning in. And you'll see me Friday night. Maybe you'll see Alexis and for a few Lady Vol for Lives at the same time.
Absolutely. But if not, I still love y'all. Go Lady Vols. Watch that game. We stream every game live if it's on cable, if it's on SEC Network, if it's on ESPN Plus. If we can stream it, we play it, period.
All right, guys. We will see y'all Friday. And everybody be safe and peace, and we're out.
Go Lady Vols.